Alright, welcome back to City Skylines 2. In the last episode, we got a little bit accomplished. We've put in a couple of new neighborhoods, mostly revolving around the education of the city. We've got a new college, a new university. I also ended up putting the hospital in. We've still got a lot of stuff to work on, so today I'm thinking that I'm going to go over some of these neighborhoods and just kind of redo some of the roads and the layouts and just make it a little bit more efficient. I did see your comments on the last one. They were very, very helpful to me, so I looked up road hierarchy. I looked up different designs for highway interchanges, so I think I'm probably going to implement some of that philosophy in here as well. I do think with the road hierarchy, I kind of have some of that going already. For example, I think I would consider this road right here, Main Street, basically to be an arterial, and then I have these other, what are they called, collector roads kind of branching off of there, and then from there I would call maybe some of these local roads. So I kind of got the idea. It's not perfect, it's not implemented as well as I would like it to be, so we're gonna go in with that. Another fun thing that I have done is I've been experimenting. If you saw my most recent community post in my short, I have been working on installing some mods, so we do have that. I'm gonna have to reload the city again. I think the mods for some reason didn't load, but we've installed some of those. Most of them are the extra mods, if you've seen those in there. So that includes the asset manager and all sorts of stuff. I've also downloaded some new textures and items to place on buildings. For example, there's some graffiti, there's some like stains and decals and all kinds of stuff. And I will get into that here in a minute. For now, let me just reload the game real quick and see if I can get those mods to work. Alright, so as you can see, we've got a couple new icons down here at the bottom. Here's my extra assets. So I've got a lot of different things. We've got some parking decals and stuff that we can use in here. Some sports fields, road markings. They've got the ground decals for the dirt stains, all that kind of stuff. We also have, which I am probably going to experiment here in just a minute, these beach assets here. I'm really quite tempted to try these out and see if that will do anything down here. I'm thinking kind of behind these houses over here, or maybe even down here would be a good location to try out making a beach. But with that being said, let me just go right into kind of redesigning some of these roads here. Now, I think what I'm wanting to do is kind of increase the size of this road here. I might do this as a medium 4-lane divided road, so you can go ahead and replace that. I know that's going to delete some buildings in the process, but that's okay. So now I've got that larger road there. Maybe I will extend this all the way down to the other side as well. Now this can't go this direction because the college is in the way, so I'm gonna have to kind of rotate that to be this side instead. Losing a lot of buildings here, but that's okay. I really don't mind. I'm trying to, like I said in the last one, I'm trying to get more comfortable with deleting stuff and redoing everything. I don't think the city is gonna suffer too much from all of that. Now I do want it to be kind of a little bit more realistic as far as a North American city goes. In order to do that, we're gonna need parking areas. So we have 3 development points left. Let me unlock the parking areas. Here in a minute, I'm going to start placing these around. Now, I don't want to go too crazy for this. I do still want my city to be functional with public transportation. I don't want it to be too car-centric, and I don't want everything to be a huge block of pavement. But I do want to have some parking lots scattered about, so that is something I'm going to work on as well. This area kind of bothers me a little bit, so I think I'm going to try to do some smaller roads in here. And I think maybe I could place a parking lot back behind these buildings. Maybe that would look alright. Yeah, let's say we could do that. You know what, why don't we just delete this whole area right here? Oh, why did that disown that? Okay, you could perhaps do some little alleys back here. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be functional. You know what, I might actually replace this road with an alley as well. I don't feel like it needs to be that big thing. And then I'm thinking up here in these little squares, I'm gonna make these into one-way streets. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I have to be mindful of where I put these bus routes. Yeah, so the only road up here that it is going to affect is this one up here, so I will have to be mindful of that. But for the rest of the roads, it's not going to be a big deal. Thinking for this one, perhaps I could go in this direction and have that be a 3-lane road instead. And then the rest of these will all be 2-lane one-way streets. There we go. Then on this side, I think I'm going to do the opposite here. Let's extend that over here this way, and then this one will go up instead of down. I might make these larger eventually, but right now I think this is just enough to suit our purposes. Alright, that seems to be looking okay. Now let's try to do that as well on the other side here. Not sure why it's trying to do that. That is very strange. Let me actually just completely redo this road. I'm gonna delete this because I know I wasn't satisfied with this the last time, but now I've installed a mod that should make that a bit easier, and I'm not gonna have to fiddle with the road as much. So let's try to redo this. I think, yeah, I did have this as a 3-lane, so let's extend that once again up here. Try to get that as close as I can to the water. There we go. Let's go ahead and connect this pedestrian path up once again. We'll go to the road services, and let's see if we can do this once again. I think I needed to get that slightly closer to the water, but it still looks okay. And then over here is really what I was looking for with that. Oh yeah, that looks great right there. I think that looks so much better than what it did before. Alright, that's looking a lot better over here now. I think I could probably do a little bit more fiddling with the terrain to make that look even better, but I'm gonna leave that for another time. For now, I would also like to put another pedestrian path in over here. I kind of wanted to go all the way back behind these houses here, so there's kind of a beach area behind them. That was kind of my goal with some of the mods. Now, I have experimented with the other decals. I have not used the beach decals yet, so it's going to take a little bit of trial and error, but we shall see if I am able to make that look nice. I'm wondering, since this thing is so small, I wonder if I need to just do this with the brush like that. I should have probably watched the video on how to make these things before I just started going in here and doing this. Okay, I will be back. I'm gonna try to figure it out. Okay, so here's kind of my little beach experiment here. I don't think it looks too bad, honestly. I just need to put in some palm trees for the real effect here. That looks alright. It could be a little bit better, but I think that's okay for now. I can go in. I think what I'm gonna do eventually is I'll go in and extend this beach area down here as well. I've got a lot of other stuff I want to work on besides that, though. Eventually I'll come back to that. You can see stuff is starting to rebuild back here again. It seems that we're still dealing with quite the traffic issue, so let's continue to work on fixing these roads a little bit. Now, I did notice when I was placing the roads the last time, I don't think I ever put a road maintenance depot anywhere. Yeah, you can see that the road conditions are just really bad everywhere, so I think this is going to be essential to have at least one of these in our city somewhere. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll put that over here somewhere. Now let's work on this once again. I do really think this road needs to be more lanes probably because of all the traffic. I'm thinking there's always kind of a backup down here from when these guys are getting off work and they're trying to go home and they live all the way up here. For some reason they don't want to take this direction. They will always take this road out here, and there's just a lot of congestion over here and over here as well. I'm thinking these two roads are gonna have to be made a little bit bigger. I kind of like how that lined up perfectly though with our little high school though, so I don't want to make it a 4-lane because then it's just not going to line up perfectly, and I just really want to see that it lines up like that. How about this? How about we do a one-way, but we do it 3 lanes on one side and 3 lanes going the other way on these 2 roads. Where do our buses come into this? I think they seem to, hold on, yes, they're going up on this road here. So this one, I think, is going to have to go in this direction. And then this one down here is going to go the opposite direction. That makes for kind of an interesting intersection here. Who said it had to be perfect? Of course, I could always redo the bus routes, but I just don't feel like doing that right now. That is going to be a problem for another time. Alright, that's not perfect, but it's looking a little bit better now. Uh-oh, that's a really big fire over here. I'm kind of wanting to take a look at what the city needs right now. The happiness. It seems like the high crime is kind of an issue right now, as well as the lack of entertainment and traffic. I did try to deal with the traffic a bit. I think that's mostly cleared up now, aside from this intersection up here, which I'm eventually going to rework that, but the crime thing should be a little bit easier to solve. Let's take a look here. It seems that the crime is kind of concentrated into this one neighborhood over here a little bit. There's some up here by the police station as well, but all seems to be in one location. I'm thinking maybe I could place another police station down here and see if that would help at all. Perhaps that could go right over here. We could consider that to be the university police or something like that. As well as I totally forgot I had unlocked the welfare office and I haven't placed that in my city yet. I'm thinking, I wonder if that would increase my citizens' well-being at all, and maybe that could reduce the crime a little bit. So I would like to try to find a good place to put to that one as well. I'm wondering if perhaps that needs to go down here by this neighborhood down here. I would like to rework the roads down here a little bit though before I do that. I don't really like that diagonal road in there. There we go. I like that a little bit better. It's not perfect, but that's okay. Not sure what's going on over here. It seems like this road doesn't want to have any houses spawning on it. This is really weird over here too. Let me just delete that. Okay, that is slightly better. Once again, redo all of these zones in here. We'll see if that makes any difference. What if I rezone this whole thing to be just regular medium density? I'm going to try to build out a new neighborhood. Back here behind the university. Alright, back here I think I'm going to do some more row homes. So I built it up a little bit, I've let it run for a little while, and I've noticed that I needed to unlock the wastewater treatment plant because this thing was still pouring out sewage and increasing this giant area of sewage over here. We're going to turn that off now and instead directing all of that to this wastewater treatment plant out here. That is much better. We are unfortunately still dealing with a lot of the traffic congestion issues, it seems. It almost seems worse than it was before for some reason. I never did place that welfare office, did I? So why don't we go ahead and place that right over here? That should be quite helpful. Now we've got a lot of these people over here complaining about high rent, so I think I'm going to continue with upzoning a lot of this area over here. Looking at our education now, we've reached kind of the end of the line with our elementary school. We barely have enough capacity, and also this area down here just has absolutely terrible coverage. So let's go ahead and place another elementary school in here. This game could kind of go crazy with the amount of elementary schools that are required. It's a little excessive in my opinion, but it's just how it is. So let's go ahead and place another elementary school down here. And then I noticed also that our college does not have enough capacity. So let's take a look over here. And we can finally put those that extension wing on here. And that should give us enough capacity for the time being. We might need to put another one in here pretty soon. I don't think that's going to be necessary just yet. The lack of entertainment thing is kind of an issue as well. Only select areas have coverage as far as entertainment goes, so we're going to have to do a better job of getting some more parks and stuff in here. Put a small playground over here. I also noticed that a city park fits perfectly inside of these blocks right here. So I think I might put one of those in here as well. We could put one right there. Man, what is going on here? That is quite the crash. Is that there's a motorcycle that somehow got in the backyard here. It says it's burned down and it's not. The car is still there. I don't know what's happening here. I wish I could have seen the accident. Oh, there's another one over here too. Oh my goodness, what happened there? I think this looks kind of unnatural over here. Like there's too many office buildings and not enough parking, in my opinion. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna put a parking lot in here. I know they're not gonna like that very much, but that's okay. We've now unlocked the next progression. We're at Big Town, so we have unlocked the high-density housing. That's kind of exciting. Now I find that at this stage, the high-density housing looks a little bit unnatural in my opinion. I could kind of show that to you once I get some demand for it. I will zone that in here somewhere, but I would like to wait on that until I get high density commercial or office. That's gonna be a little bit while left, but in the meantime, let's see what we can unlock now. I think what I'm gonna do is we could do the large roads. I think we're also gonna have to deal with the garbage here in a little bit, so we'll do the incinerator plant. Got 5 development points left. Thinking maybe we could do City Hall. That might not be the best option, but that's okay. Uh-oh, we've got an issue with the electrical. There's kind of a bottleneck over here. I think I see a quick solution to that. We'll go underneath here and just connect this up down here. That way it's got kind of 2 different points where it can go, and let's see if that clears it up. Yes, perfect. Now with that, I'm seeing now the garbage is starting to become an issue, so we are probably gonna have to place that incinerator plant now, as much as I've been avoiding it. Extend this road. Actually, you know what? Let me just purchase this tile right here, because that's going to bother me otherwise. It kind of also bothers me that the traffic is really backed up here because of the layout of this. There's only one single way that you can get into the city on this map, and it's coming from this one single road. And it's kind of far away. That was kind of my own fault for expanding the other way, but it starts all the way over here, and you just have to, it takes a long time to work your way over here to get to more tiles. So I will actually start expanding this way, I think. We do have a lot that we can still purchase, so I think I'm gonna go down here. That will be our goal eventually to kind of, I think what I'm gonna do down here is do a more suburban area. At least for the time being. I might upzone that eventually, but we're gonna do that just so I can have another point of entry over here to the city. I need to have more highways going in around the city. I would like to do kind of like you see in other cities where it kind of has a circular loop that goes around the city. I would like to do something like that and just have many different points of entry from off the highway into the city, and kind of outside of that loop I could have a more suburban area so that those people could easily commute into the city. With that being said, I'm having some issues now with the trash and the traffic, so let's go ahead and deal with that as soon as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and put that incinerator in now. We have that one road going, curving down there. I think I'm gonna extend this one also up here to put the incinerator on. I don't want this industrial area to get too big, so I'm just gonna leave it, I think, like that. And kind of only expand in this small area for that, and I will kind of create a buffer zone. I'll probably put, you know, an office complex area on the other side of that, and then beyond the offices, I think I'll probably do some commercial and low-density residential, but that's going to be for another time. And obviously, we're going to have to deck this out. Since we've been neglecting the trash for so long, we're going to need all the extensions we can get. A lot of their demand is starting to come back now as well. I will rezone something as a high-density housing, and I will show you exactly how out of place that looks over here. You can see how much taller that is already just based on the crane compared to the rest of the buildings in this area. That's okay, we can fill it out again eventually. Here's our completed high-density housing. It looks pretty basic. It's okay though. Finally got a few skyscrapers going in now, so that's pretty cool. Now I did also want to focus on the trains here, so let me go ahead and purchase a couple of these. Kind of running out of space now, but that's okay. I wanted to get a train station in here somewhere that's kind of in a central location to the city. I've got sort of a train track started. Now I didn't want it to have a crossing here on this main road, so I did elevate it so that it'll go over this one. Plus I think that just makes it a little bit more interesting down here as well. Before we can place our train station, we do need a rail yard, and I think that's something that I'm gonna place probably up here. Let's connect up this rail yard real quick. Now we can go ahead and place that train station in. I'm just gonna delete and rebuild this road right here. Alright, there's our little train station now. I'll build up this area around it here in a minute, but right now I'm gonna connect a train line. We'll connect that all the way out to Leechburg, and look at that, we've already got our first couple of trains in here. That was very fast. I'm curious how many people are using our bus bus lines. So it looks like we've got some use with the University Loop. We've got a few going to Moundsville as well. It's not, I wouldn't call it a whole lot. Oh, this is interesting. We've got high resource costs. So it requires metal ore. This one requires, yeah. These all require metal ore, and it's costing a lot to get these resources. I'm curious now. I haven't put any specialized industry in yet, so I'm curious to take a look at that and see if we have any ore mining available. We actually do, and it's quite close to our industry area as well. So that actually is really nice. That's going to be very convenient for me. So I think I'm going to put this mining area in right over here. It's going to be near the incinerator, and I'm just going to leave this area open. I was going to expand and put more industry in, but I think it's okay now to just go ahead and put one of these ore mining industries in here so that we can kind of reduce our costs a little bit. That looks good enough to me. I think we'll settle with that for right now. Oh my goodness, that's a huge fire over here. Wow. I'm thinking we probably don't have adequate fire coverage. Yeah, some of these areas are looking a little scary here. I should probably put another firehouse in. Our demand is also quite high right now, so I think I'm gonna finish off zoning over here. We'll do some more medium density. So before I leave off, what I'm wanting is use some of the decals and create a more interesting city. I will deal with the beach later on. That takes a long time actually to get that looking decent. So that's something that I will work on in the future, but for right now, I think it's a lot of fun to go in and add some decals to the buildings. So let's start with that. Now I'm thinking we could probably do some of this graffiti and some cracks over here on the roads. Could maybe do back here by this dumpster. Okay, I think this area looks pretty interesting now. I could go into more detail. I may do that in the future, but I'm not going to do it in these full recorded episodes. I think that'd make it too long. So maybe check out my shorts if you want to see some more detailing videos. I think I'm going to probably do some of those on there instead. But we have reached the Great Town progression, and with that comes with some new perks. We got some new zoning. I do believe we now have the high density business zoning. So real quick, let's put some of that in and see how that looks. I think right over here would be a prime location for that. Let's rezone this whole block right here. One area that I do want to work on next time is this area here and over here, and maybe over here a little bit too. There's like this big gap that I don't think that it looks very nice. It doesn't look very cohesive, so I'm either gonna fill that in with trees, or I might kind of redo the roads here, put some more in there to fill it out a little bit more. Maybe I'll even put some parking in there. And the other thing is over here too, I don't really like that this area over here has been sitting kind of empty for a while. I might fill that in with some trees, or possibly put some office buildings over here kind of as a buffer in between the industry and the residential areas. I haven't quite decided on that yet. Off camera, I think I'm going to also work on this beach and extend that a little bit more. Looks like our commercial buildings right down here are done now, which is brilliant. Another thing that I want to address in the future is public transportation. So we do have a train station now, and we have a couple bus lines. I don't think that's enough for the way that our city currently is set up. I would like to unlock, well, we do have the trams unlocked. I might put some trams in there, but I really want to get some subways in the next time, since that doesn't involve me having to plan out roads and delete roads and all that stuff for the most part. I think that'll make things a little bit easier for me. With that being said, I am pretty happy with our progress so far. If you have any other suggestions of what you want me to do in the city, please let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again on the next one.